The Daily Beast is reporting on a story here that pretty much nobody else is mentioning, and that's sad because it's really, really important, and it just gets no play. So it's titled, Elite U.S. Special Operators Build Center for Perpetual War on Terror. Well, that's nice. So, we've already been involved in the war on terror for over 15 years. Remember, 2001 was the launch of the Afghanistan war. 2003 was the Iraq war. And they're saying, at this point, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're just like, perpetual war. Hey, also, isn't it kind of strange? We have two official wars still going on, like declared and all that. There was the war in Iraq, which I guess briefly they would have argued, we stopped it for 13 seconds, then we went right back in. But there's that, and then there's the war in Afghanistan. Do you ever hear about that on the news? Like, I would like somebody, hey, Media Matters or anybody out there who looks into this stuff, go back through the archives for the past year, let's just say, and tell us the number of days that went by on the different news channels, whether it's MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, you name it. Tell us how many days went by without them even mentioning the fact that we're still in a fucking war. Wouldn't that be an interesting fact to have? When you find out, like, okay, CNN went 78 days without mentioning the fact that the goddamn country is still at war. So it's just sad. But now they're like, oh, nobody's looking? Wonderful. Let's build a permanent base. So they explain here, preparing for a multi-generational international fight against terrorists, U.S. Special Operations chiefs are launching a new counter-terrorist nerve center at an undisclosed location in the Middle East to fight the so-called Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, and any other terrorist actors. The Joint Special Operations Command, or JSOC as it's called, by the way, Jeremy Scahill has done some great work on them, the U.S. military's premier counter-terrorist strike force is expanding its existing targeting nerve center in the region to make space for more American terror-hunting personnel from three-letter agencies like the CIA, NSA, and FBI to foreign partners like Britain, France, Iraq, and Jordan. All right, let me pause here. So they're saying we're going to build a permanent base in the Middle East. By the way, totally not going to piss off more people and radicalize more people. You're good. Don't worry. And it's going to be everybody's going to be there. It's going to be a fucking family reunion. Bring back the old club from when you used to, openly topple third world governments and put in fascist dictators to do the bidding of our corporations. CIA, NSA, FBI, people from the UK, and the West. And we get to, we're morally superior and we believe in human rights. Anyway, how many children did you drone bomb today at a wedding? Wonderful. Tremendous. So this is what they're doing. They're building a new nerve center. We got to fight terrorism. Because, the United States, we're like Superman. We're the world policeman. We're always there to help you, except when we do the opposite and we give fucking billions of dollars in weapons to Saudi Arabia, who arms Al-Qaeda and blows up women and children in Yemen. And when we arm Israel as they, to the tune of $38 billion as they continue to, expand their settlements and do occupation and apartheid. But other than that, we believe in human rights, except for when we have Guantanamo Bay and we torture people and, they're there. Not so much. But other than that, other than the things that we do that violate human rights, we believe in human rights. So, just so everybody knows. I'm not done yet. They continue here. The Obama administration is enshrining the strike force's role of gathering multiple points of view on who to kill and capture. How democratic in determining who to illegally kill. As it did in Iraq and Afghanistan, into a permanent information-sharing platform. Two U.S. officials tell the Daily Beast, speaking anonymously because they were not authorized to discuss the secret task force publicly. This has been going on, said a senior U.S. official briefed on the expanded mission. We're just putting it on steroids. That's nice. So, there's no pretense anymore. Now we have 7 interventions going on under a supposedly liberal Democratic president. In some places, it's just drone bombs. In some places, it's traditional airstrikes. In some places, it's special operations, boots on the ground. In some places, it's an all-out war with an occupation. But there's 7 different interventions going on. Now they're saying, yeah, look, the whole even the idea that we would pretend to have an end goal. We're done with that. This is permanent. This is permanent. We're permanently fighting the enemy, the terrorists, and that's what's happening. Now, again, so even if you think they're honest in what they're trying to do, hey, they're just trying to fight terrorists, get over it, man. Okay, you do know that the evidence shows this has been counterproductive. So the goal that they say they're trying to reach, we just want to get rid of the terrorists. We just want to eliminate terrorists or limit the number of terrorists. Okay, well, even if you agree with that, well, it's been worse because there are more terrorists now than there were before we started the war on terror. So it's just been a failure. It's like the war on drugs. Hey, we're doing it because we want to eliminate drugs or get rid of drugs or stop drug use. Well, more people are doing drugs now. So you failed. You failed. But furthermore, again, it's not even about that. Because I just told you, we give Saudi Arabia billions of dollars in weapons. They funnel some of those weapons and that money to jihadist groups in Syria who are fighting Assad, to Al-Qaeda in Yemen, so they can have a militia on the ground fighting for the Sunnis to take the government back from the Shia Houthis. So we're aiding, fucking General Petraeus said, let's arm Al-Qaeda to fight Assad and fight ISIS. So we are arming jihadists. Our allies are arming jihadists. We back civil rights violators all around the world. The guy in, I think it was Uzbekistan just died, the dictator. He boiled people alive, and we gave fawning statements about him when he died. So we don't care about human rights. It's not about being the world police. It's not about being altruistic. That's a comical lie. It's really about power. It's really about control. And it's really about natural resources. And it's really about the corporatocracy and our business interests. It's imperialism 101. This idea that, the U.S. government is we're so much more. We care so deeply about other people. And trust me, we're totally not like every other fucking empire ever that really at the end of the day has selfish motivations. No, we are. You ain't special, bitch. Your shit stinks. So just like every other empire ever where we're the leadership role, and they all told themselves a pretty little lies. Every empire ever. Oh no, we're doing it because we have the right value system and we got to implement it around the world. Duh. Oh, really? That's interesting because that's what every other empire said, and every other empire ended up collapsed under the weight of their own hubris and arrogance and narcissism because at the end of the day, it all became about us, about our own power, our own control. It ain't about human rights. It ain't about the people. It never was about that. Again, if no, Kyle, you don't get it. The United States is just trying to stop Boko Haram and Al-Shabaab from implementing Sharia. God damn it, you stupid liberal. Really? Then why did we just let Brunei in the TPP when they implemented Sharia like 2 years ago? In 2014, Brunei implemented Sharia. They're an ally of ours. You know how according to your logic, we got to invade. We got to topple the regime change. We got to do regime change. Terrorists implementing Sharia. Horrific. Terrible. Terrible. There wasn't a peep about that. Nobody spoke about that. Why? Because they're our ally. If you're our ally, you can do whatever you want. You want to implement Sharia, you want to take away human rights, you want to crack down on people, you want to treat women as second-class citizens, you want to behead people for taking drugs. We don't give a fuck. You're on our side. You're with our corporations. Do whatever you want. So it's got nothing to do with, stop Sharia, stop the fucking human rights violators. Nothing to do with that. And now it never ends. And this is what your taxpayer dollars are going for. We got people in Flint, Michigan, who still don't have clean drinking water. Little kids don't have clean drinking water in the United States of America. Our infrastructure gets a grade of D. 45,000 people die in the U.S. every year because they don't have access to basic health insurance. Basic health care, I should say. Millions of people don't have health insurance. Even after Obamacare, which was a little step in the right direction. We got all these problems, man. Half of Americans, 50%, make $30,000 a year or less. You think maybe we could use some of these resources? Do you know how much money we spend on military bases all around the world? We have 800 bases all around the world. It costs us $100 billion a year to maintain those businesses. We're wasting money on that when we have hundreds of thousands of homeless people here in the U.S. We got to get better priorities. We wasted $7 trillion on the Iraq war. That's by 2053 when you add in the interest and you add in the cost for the veterans' healthcare. $7 trillion. You think maybe that money could have been used somewhere else? And by the way, they never ask that question for war. Hey, how can we afford this? They always ask that question for social safety net programs. We're going to feed our kids? How can we afford to feed the fucking kids? That costs too much. Endless war? Blank check. Our priorities are beyond fucked up. And what do we even achieve in Iraq? Nothing. We made it worse. I mean, Saddam Hussein was an authoritarian monster. Don't get me wrong. But that doesn't mean you topple him because he's a bad guy. There's a lot of bad guys around the world, a lot that we actively support. But he didn't attack us. We went in there, did an offensive war, toppled a government that didn't attack us, occupied the country, hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed, the region was broken, ISIS rose out of the ruins. And now we started the fire, and now to put it out, we're going in there and we're starting more fires. Genius, really genius.